Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Welcome to day 3 of DevOps course. So can you hear me? Please give your confirmations on the chat, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you can hear me, please type yes in the chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Thank you very much. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. Okay. So what's the plan for today? What's the plan for today? We know the important prerequisite for DevOps is we have to be good in basics of Linux. So that is the reason this complete session is focused on Linux. We get started with Linux. We learn how can we create with files, how can we create with directories, how can we navigate between one directory to other directories, how can we create this kind of nested directory structure. We'll compare with rmdir and rm-r, listing of files and directories, what happens when a file name starts with dot, how can we see hidden files, how can we see hidden directories, combination of listing options, copying file, and if permits, many more topics for the plan for today's session. Perfect. Okay. Now, before getting started, any questions? I've seen some participants raising their hands in the previous session. Okay. So, any questions who want to talk to me, please raise your hand. Let's start with Anamika. Good evening, Anamika. How are you doing today? You are now allowed to unmute and talk.
Hello, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Your location, your experience, please.
Sir, I'm based in Dubai. So my complete education background is in IT, but my whole experience is in HR, recruitment.
Okay.
So actually, I'm your old student from batch 88.
Oh, COVID.
Yeah.
I think in the COVID time.
Yes.
I think
So
yes.
yes. So after that I was on maternity break. So I thought of joining the session again to brush up my skills so that I can appear for the interviews in coming days. So my
I
question,
remember you have attended AWS session. Am I right, Anamika?
AWS as well as DevOps.
Even
Both.
DevOps also.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but you have not done any practice at that point of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is, when I attended your last session, you used PuTTY for the connection between EC2 machine and the system, right?
You're talking about yesterday session.
Yes, yes. So,
Correct.
but when I was attending
We have used
session,
Git Bash.
yes, Git Bash.
I remember.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, are we using the? We will be using the Git Bash only, or we will be continuing using PuTTY?
No, we will switch to Git Bash soon. Okay. After a couple of months.
Switch. Okay, okay.
So I want to also make yourself comfortable with both PuTTY and Git Bash. Both can be used. We are starting with PuTTY. A couple of days we'll also start Git Bash.
But the commands for the Linux are same for both.
Yeah. The terminal does not make any difference in the commands. Okay. It is the same.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Viswaranjan, how are you?
Yeah, Sunil, I'm good. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Sunil, I have two questions. One is like yesterday you have mentioned.
Are you from West Bengal?
No, I am from Odisha actually.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is like yesterday you have mentioned this DevOps. We are going to training at AWS, but yesterday you mentioned. So if it will come to the Azure part, so nothing is the same. Just we are changing the AWS to DevOps. So I want to know if AWS DevOps and Azure DevOps, what is the difference?
You want to know the difference between AWS DevOps and Azure DevOps. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. DevOps is collection of tools. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I right? These are the tools which you are learning.
Yes,
in our course, right?
yes.
Agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I have one question to you. All these tools,
Okay.
do we learn practically or theory?
Uh,
All these tools, do we learn practicals or we just learn theory about it?
no, practical.
Practicals. Am I right? So
Yes.
we'll be installing these tools and we'll be executing these tools. We'll understand what is the work done by these tools. Agree?
Yeah, I agree.
On which platform we'll be installing all these tools on in our course?
Yeah, now we are doing through AWS.
Yes. Not only now, the rest of all the course, 40 days
Okay.
or 45 days, all
Okay.
these tools we'll be installing on AWS.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Agree? That's
Yeah,
why this course is called as AWS Devops.
DevOps. Okay.
If all these tools we execute it
Azure.
on Azure,
Okay.
then it is called as what course?
Azure DevOps.
Okay. So tools will remain the same.
Okay.
On which platform you are executing it? On which
Okay.
platform you are using it makes the difference. Okay. Our course is designed to learn all these tools on which platform? AWS, the AWS platform. That's why it's called an AWS DevOps course. Did you understand? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Sudarshan.
Hi, I just want to check, right? Okay, all these tools can execute only in Linux or can also perform in Windows.
You can do it on Windows also. But in the real time, most of the tools are always on Linux.
Is it due to the performance or anything specific why people are going towards Linux?
Generally, servers will be always Linux-based operating systems. Okay, end users will work with Windows-based operating system, but generally servers, if you look at database servers or if you look at the application servers, they will be always installed on Linux operating system. Okay, that's the industry standard. So the reason all these are based on Linux machines.
Okay, but all the tools can run on Windows
You
also.
can, yeah, can be installed on Windows also.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Okay.
oh, sure, thanks.
Good morning, Hannah. How are you doing? I think you are my old participant, am I right?
Good morning, sir. I just woke up. Okay. Actually, this is my first day joining, but I followed through with your 2 recordings that you sent out. I have 2 questions. The first, I was referred by a friend to logical text.
May I know
So
your
my
friend's
first
name?
question, Ebane, she's in New York. I'm actually in Dallas, Texas. So my first question is, when I went through the recordings, you said you were going to give us a 20-minute scripting recordings. How can that be assessed? Then my
20
second question,
hours, not 20 minutes.
20 hours, sorry, 20 hours.
It's a 20 days. Each session is 1 hour.
Okay, yes. How can we access that?
Okay. So
Then,
once you sign up and complete the payment for this particular DevOps batch, okay. So it's like a Udemy portal. You have to log into our portal along with this DevOps videos. Under my courses, you will also find the shell scripting videos, but not now. You need to wait for 3-4 days for the demos for the payments to get completed. Then you will have access to the shell scripting online from our portal.
Okay, sir. My next question is, does a Logic Lab Tech have any Kubernetes class? And if they do, is it coming up soon?
Exclusively Kubernetes class is designed for 18 hours. Okay. That will be in the month of July.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That is exclusively Kubernetes.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Okay. Keep learning. Thank you very much. Perfect. To execute all these commands, to learn Linux, you have to have a Linux environment. I hope you remember, we have created a Linux machine on AWS. Let's log into AWS. I hope you know the URL. The URL is aws.amazon.com. Sign in to the console. Sign in using a root user. Email address and login password. This is the home page of AWS Cloud Platform. To connect to the Linux machine, I hope you remember we have used a service called EC2 under services, under compute section, EC2. Go to instances. I hope you remember, this is the machine which we have created. The Linux batch 530 is the machine what we have created. And the status of the machine is stop. Please start the machine. Once the machine is started, we'll be using a terminal called putty. Let's open putty. Under host name, you need to provide the connection string. As you can see, the machine is successfully started. Connect. Pick up user. This is a username at DNS. This should be your host name. If you want to connect to the Linux machine, this is the AWS Cloud Platform. We have created a Linux machine from our personal laptop. We are connecting to a Linux machine which is somewhere running in Mumbai data center. For that, you need a terminal called putty. We have it. You need a key pair. I hope you remember. You need a key pair. I hope you remember. Key pair is nothing but the file with extension .ppk, or it can be a file with extension .pem. So this key pair is important to connect to the Linux machine. I remember I have downloaded the key pair in E drive today folder DevOps 530. Can you see? This is the key pair which I have created. I hope you remember. You need to practice, my dear friends. I'll be using this key pair for connectivity purpose. Under connection, under SSH, under authentication, go to credentials. Private key is nothing but the key pair. This is the PPK file. Accept. We have successfully connected to the Linux machine. Let's increase the font size. For better visibility. Perfect. Clear, to clear the screen. We have successfully connected to the Linux machine. So I am based out of Hyderabad. Linux machine is running in Mumbai data center. You know that. You can see here. This is the Linux machine which we have created in the Mumbai data center from Hyderabad. You have connected, successfully connected to a Linux machine which is running in Mumbai data center. That's the concept of cloud. It's available anywhere, accessible anywhere. So we have successfully connected to Linux machine. Let's get started with Linux. Let's get started with Linux. I want to create a file. I hope you remember we have created two files yesterday, F1 and F2. That's okay. I want to create a file. The name of the file is F5. I want to create a file. The name of the file which I want to create is F5. How can you create a file? Yes, you can do it by using the command called cat. Using cat is a command which helps you to create a file. The syntax is cat use greater than symbol. Mention the file name which you want to create I want to create a file. The name of the file is F5. So what happens, please observe, the file gets created, the control will enter into the file. And why are we creating a file? We want to save some data into the file. So you need to write some data and come out of the cat command. Let me experience it. I want to create a file. The name of the file is F5. File name can be anything. So I'll be using it by using the command called cat. Use greater than symbol, mention the file which you have created, F5, the file gets created. The file is created, now control is inside the file, so write the contents. Welcome to day 3 of DevOps. Today we are learning lines. Thank you. This is the 3 lines of content I want to write it in the file, and how to come out of the cat command. How to come out of the cat command? Control D to come out of the cat command. So I use Control D to come out of the cat command. I'm done with creating a file. I'm done with creating a file. F5 is the name of the file. I want to create one more file with the name F6. Can I do it? Yes, definitely. So cat, use greater than symbol, mention the file which you want to create F6. Write some contents. Write some contents in the file. How to come out of the cat command? Control D to come out of the cat command. I'm done with creating the file F6. LS to C list of all the files. LS to C list of all the files. We have created 2 files, F5 and F6. LS to C list of all the files. This is the file F5 and F6 which we have created just now. File F1, F2 are the files which you have created in the previous session. Total your Linux machine is having total 6 files. So cat is a command, and cat is a command which helps you to create a file. How can I remove a file? I want to remove the file F6. I want to remove a file F6. How can we remove a file? Whenever you want to remove a file, in other words, you want to delete a file, we have a command called RM, stands for remove. We have a command called RM which helps you to remove the file. So mention the file name which I want to remove. So I want to remove F6. So mention RM F6, the file gets removed. So look at this. RM remove. Mention the file you want to remove. F6, the file has been removed. Now LS, now you can see only F1, F2, F5. What about F6? It has been successfully deleted. So you know how to create a file. By using cat command, using greater than symbol, you have to create a file. We also know how to remove a file. We have removed F6. Can I remove F2 also? Yes, you can. RM, mention the file which you want to remove. F2. The file gets removed. Can I remove F1? RM, F1, the file gets removed. Yes. Clear to clear the screen. Unless right now you are left out with only one file, F5. So you now know how to create a file. You now know how to remove a file. Now, I want to read the data present in the file. Important. I want to see the data present in the file. I remember the file F5 is having some 3 lines of content saying welcome to DevOps day 3. Today we are learning about Linux and a thank you message. So this file I remember is having 3 lines of content. I want to see the data present in the file. I want to read the data present in the file. Whenever you want to read the data, please use cat. Don't use greater than symbol. You have to use greater than symbol if you're planning to create a new file. We are not planning to create a new file. File is already existing. You want to see the data present in the files. Cat F5. Can you see? Are you able to read the data? Welcome to day 3 of DevOps. Today we are learning Linux and thank you. Are you able to read the data? Perfect. So use greater than symbol in case if you want to create a new file. If you don't want to create a new file, you want to see the content present in the file. Please use just a cat command. Do not use greater than symbol. You are able to see the data present in the file. Perfect. So you know how to create a file and you know how to remove a file and you know how to see the data present in the file. Let's go with directories. Let's learn about directories. The next step, what I want to show you is how to create a directory. How to create a directory. What do you mean by directory? Directory is nothing but a folder. Like in Windows machine, we have a folder. So this is a folder which is having some set of files related to DevOps 530. So these are all folders. Folders are nothing but directories. In Windows, it is called as folder. In Linux, it is called as directories. I'm sure many participants already know Linux. For them, it is a little bit boring, but you have to wait for just a couple of days. We will be jumping into the core concepts of DevOps very, very quickly. For the participants who are completely new to Linux, this will be very useful. For the participants who already know Linux, it will be boring. but you have to wait, just bear for a couple of days. We'll be jumping into the DevOps tools soon. I want to create a directory. I want to create a directory with the name D1. This is the name of the directory which I want to create. I want to create a directory D1. How can we create a directory? We have a command called mkdir. Participants. We have a command called mkdir, stands for make directory. mkdir stands for make directory. We have a command called mkdir, stands for make directory, which helps you to create a new directory. Okay, so the command will be mkdir, into the directory which you want to create. D1, that helps you to create a new directory. Let's experience it. mkdir, make directory, mention the directory which you want to create. D1, that directory gets created. ls will show you not only files, it will also show you directories. Can you see we have created directory D1? Can you create one more directory? Why not? mkdir. I want to create one more directory D2. Yes, you are done. List. Now you can see there are 2 directories in one file. So you now know how to create a directory. You now know how to create a directory. So we have successfully created directory D1. So my point is, can I create a file inside the directory? Can I create a file inside a particular directory? In my requirement, I want to create a file. The name of the file is F10. My plan is to create a file. The file name is F10, but I want this file to be created under the directory D1. Like how folders can have files. One folder can have a number of files, isn't it? In the same way, directory can also have files. In the same way, directory can also have files. So I want to create a file F10. I want to create a file F10 under the directory D1. Let's learn. Please observe. Let's learn how can we do it. The file which you want to create is F10. If you write cat greater than something like F10, the file gets created, but in this particular location. Currently, you're pointing to which location? Currently, you're pointing to which location? We have a command called pwd, stands for print working directory. We have a command in Linux, pwd, stands for print working directory, which will show you the current location you are working. Let me experience this command, pwd, print working directory. Participants, right now we are working on /home, under Ubuntu. This is our current location. This is our current location. These files D1, these directories D1, D2, and the file F5, all these files and directories are present under Ubuntu directory. pwd stands for print working directory, show you will current path which you're working in this currently /home/Ubuntu. These files and directories are available in /home/Ubuntu. Now, what's my plan? I want to create a plan F. My plan is to create a file F10, but my plan is I want to create the file F10, but I want this file to be created under D1. So in such case, first you need to enter into the directory. You need to enter into the directory. We have a command called cd, stands for change directory. Participants, we have a command called cd, stands for change directory, which help you to enter into the required directory. I want to enter into the directory D1. Yes, now you are pointing inside the D1. Now you are pointing to D1. If you want to confirm, we have a command called pwd. We have a command called pwd, stands for print directory, print working directory. Right? Previously we are inside /home/Ubuntu. Now currently we are in /home/Ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, we are in the directory D1. Yes, now we are in the right directory D1. Now my plan is to create a file F10. Yes, you can do that by using the command called cat greater than, mention the file name which you want to create. Write some contents into the file, Control D to come out to the cat command, ls. Right now you have created a file F10, but where is this F10 point? F10 is created. F10 is created under the directory D1. Clear? I hope I'm very clear. I have shown you how to create files. I have shown you how to remove files. I also have shown you how to create directories. I've shown you how to create a directories. I also have shown you how to navigate to a required directory by using the command called cd, stands for change directory. By using the command called cd, you can navigate to any particular directory and you have created a file inside the directory. Clear? Clear about this? I hope I'm very clear. PWD, let me repeat. PWD stands for print working directory. Observe, my dear participants, currently we are pointing to D1. Currently, we are pointing to D1 directory. For the directory D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For the directory D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For the Ubuntu directory, the parent is home. Home is under root. Root is the topmost directory. Root is the hierarchy. Like in Windows, we have C drive. In the same way, root is the topmost hierarchy in Linux. For D1, the immediate parent directory is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the immediate parent directory is home. For home, the immediate parent directory is /. This is the directory structure. Now, my plan, my requirement, I want to point to Ubuntu. Right now, I'm pointing to D1. I want to go back to one step above. I want to point to my parent directory Ubuntu. Whenever you want to go to immediate parent directory, you have a command called cd double dot. We have a command called cd double dot, which will take you to one step above. It's a hierarchy, so we should say one step above. So you will be pointing to /home/Ubuntu. Let's see that. Let's look at it. cd double dot will go to one step above. So we will be pointing to /home/Ubuntu. pwd print working directory. You're pointing to /home/Ubuntu. So whenever you want to go to one step above, so whenever you want to switch to immediate parent directory, please use the command called cd double dot. So you know how to navigate to next directory. You also know how to navigate to the immediate parent directory. ls, clear to clear the screen. ls to see list of all the files. My dear participants, we have D1 directory, we have D2 directory, and we have a file F5 inside the current working directory. Perfect. You know how to create a directory. You also know how to navigate to a particular directory also. So how to create a directory, you know how to go to previous directory. If you want to go to previous directory, you have to use a command called cd double dot. I hope I'm not fast. You have a command called cd double dot. You have to go to immediate parent directory. Next, how to delete a directory. Let's learn this point. How to delete a directory. We have D1. We have D2. I want to remove the directory D2. I want to remove this directory D2. How can you do it? mkdir stands for make directory, which helps you to create new directory. Am I right? Similarly, we have rmdir stands for remove directory. mkdir, which helps you to create a new directory. rmdir, which helps you to remove the directory. So the command is rmdir. You have to practice, my dear participants. So remove directory, I mentioned the directory name which you want to remove. So let's say I want to remove D2. So this command will help you to remove a particular directory which you are mentioning. Let's do that. rmdir, remove directory, mention the directory which you want to remove. Perfect, you have successfully removed it. ls, now you are left out with only D1 and F5. You have successfully deleted a directory. So we have a command called rmdir, which helps you to remove directory. Okay. Yes. Similarly, can I remove the first directory D1? Can you do it? Yes, why not? rmdir, mention the directory you want to remove D1, but this command will fail. Participants, this command will fail. When a command will fail, you have to learn the message why the command has been failed, and we should be able to troubleshoot. Please observe here. Please observe here. Yes, we have got an error. Failed to remove directory D1. Directory is not empty. Directory is not empty. So rmdir will work only when the directory is empty. D2 is an empty directory, so it has been successfully removed. But D1 is not an empty directory. Do you remember? Under D1, we have created a file F10. Under D1, we have created a file F10. So it's not an empty directory. remove directory rmdir will work only if the directory is empty. If the directory is not empty, if a directory has some set of files or some more directories, in such case, we have to use a command called rm-r stands for recursive, and mention the directory which you want to remove, D1. So -r stands for recursive. Recursive means first it will delete the files which are there inside the directory, and then finally the directory will also be removed. Success. So ls, now you're left over with only one file, F file. So rmdir will work only when the directory is empty. If the directory is not empty, you have to use a command called rm-r. Irrespective whether the file directory is empty or not, please use the command rm-r to successfully remove the directories. Clear? So we have learned creating files, removing files. We have learned creating directories, removing the directories. We also have learned how can we navigate. CD stands for change directory, which helps you to go to any directory whichever you want. We have CD double dot, which helps you to go to immediate parent directory. Let's spend some time navigating between directories. So what is my requirement? Look at this requirement. My requirement now is D1. I want to create a directory D1. Under D1, I want to create directory D2. Under D2, I want to create directory D3. Under D3, I want to create directory D4. This is the requirement. D1, D2, D3, D4. This is the hierarchical structure of directories which I want to create. I want to create D1. Under D1, I want to create D2. Under D2, I want to create D3. Under D3, I want to create D4. Can we do it? Yes, we can, no doubt. ls to see list of all the files. Right now, we have only one file, F file. Let's start with the first step. Let's start with the first step, creating a file, creating a directory D1. mkdir D1 directory got created. Perfect. Now, CD change directory. You need to enter into D1. It's right now you're pointing to D1 now. Because you want to create D2 under the D1. So you need to change to D1. Now here mkdir D2 CD D2 mkdir D3 enter into D3 mkdir D4 CD change to D4. Perfect. Right now you're pointing to D4. If you want, you can confirm it by using the command called pwd, stands for print to working directory participants. We are in /home/ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, we have a directory D1. Under D1, you have created directory D2. Under D2, we have created D3. Under D3, we have created D4. This is the hierarchical structure of directories you have created. One more important point. For D4, the immediate parent directory is D3. For D3, the parent is D2. For D2, the parent is D1. For D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the parent is home. For home, the parent is root. Slash is called as root. Perfect. So this is the hierarchical structure. CD double dot. What this will do? CD double dot will move you to immediate parent directory D3. We have learned it. But my requirement is I don't want to go to immediate parent directory. I want to directly jump to Ubuntu. I directly want to point to /home/Ubuntu. When you want to directly move to a specific directory, so you have to command write CD stands for change directory. Right from root, write the entire path /home/Ubuntu. So from the D4, you have directly, from D4, you have directly jump to the location, whatever you want. So you can go to immediate parent directory by using CD double dot, or you can use CD command, go to the specific location also directly. So you have to be very comfortable. Clear to clear the screen. Clear to clear the screen. So we have to be very comfortable navigating between the files, navigating between the directories. So day by day, you will be more and more comfortable working with files and directories. We are done. So we are done with working files and directories. Next, let's move on. Very, very important point. Okay. LS stands for list. Will show you files as well as directories. F5 is a file and D1 is a directory. I want to read the content in the file F5. Participants, I want to see the content present in the file F5. Cat, just write F5. Don't use greater than symbol. Greater than symbol, you have to use it only when you want to create a new file. I don't want to create a new file. I want to read the data present in the file. So just use cat command. You are able to see the data present in the file. Yes. Okay. Next. In two ways, we can create file. Participants, in two ways, we can create a file in Linux. One is by using the cat command, which we already have learned. The second way of creating the file is by using the touch command. By using touch command also, you can create a new file in Linux. Now, I will be creating a file. Right now, we have only one file, F5. I want to create a new file. I want to create a new file, F6. I want to create a new file, F6. And by now, I want to create this new file using the touch command. Please experience it. Touch. Mention the file name which you want to create, F6. Done. File got created. I want to create one more file, F7. Touch, F7. File got created. LS. F5 is the old file. F6 and F7 are the two new files which we have just now created by using the touch command. Have you observed the difference? What is the difference when you create a file by using cat command and when you create a file by using touch command? When you create a file by using cat command, I hope you remember, the control will enter into the file. You have to write the data, whatever you want to enter into the file, like welcome to DevOps. Today we are learning Linux, thank you. And we use Control D to come out of the cat command back to the dollar prompt. So this is one way of creating a file. Whereas if you create a file by using touch command, is the control is entering into the file? Nothing like that. Immediately you're getting a dollar prompt back. The point is, touch command will help you to create an empty file. Touch, whenever, if your requirement is to create an empty file, later you will be writing the data, but your requirement is to have a file, that's all. You can open the file and you can write the contents into the file, I'll show you. But if your plan is to create an empty file, you can quickly do it by using the command called touch command. So touch command will help you to create which file? Participants, touch command will help you to create an empty file. Okay, so right now we have directory D1. We have the file F5. We have the file F6 and F7. The file F6, F7, we have created by using the touch command. File F5, we have created by using the cat. Yes. Now, very, very important point. Very, very important point. LS stands for list. Will show you list of files and directories. LS will show you list of all the files and directories. Very good. But my requirement, I want more information about the file. I want to know more information about the files and directories. I want to know more information like when the file has been created, metadata. I want more information about the file. I want to know the date and time when the file has been created. What is the size of this file? Who is the owner of the file? What are the permissions of the file? So this kind of more information I want to have. LS will just give you a list, that's all. Can you tell me the size of this file? No. Can you tell me the date and time when the file has been created? No. List will show you only list of files and directories. If you want more information, not only just names of the files. You want to know more information about the date and time. You want to know the permissions of a particular file. You want to know the size of this file. You want to know the owner of the file. You want to know the group of this particular file. So if you want to get this kind of more information, then you have to use ls-l stands for long. -l stands for long list. When you use -l stands for long listing, you get more information about the file. Please observe here. Total how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 lines of output because obviously we have 1, 2, 3, 4 files and directories. First one is directory D1, yes. F5, F6, F7, yes. F5, F6, F7. But you have got more information. Are you able to see more information? Yes. You will get more information when you use -l stands for long listing. Can you please observe, this is the date and time when the file has been created. This is the date and time when the file has been created, file or directory. This is the size of the directory. The directory is 4096. This is the size of the file, 65 bytes. F6 and F7 we have created. How did we create this F6 and F7? Yes, you are right. We have created by using the touch command. So it's a 0 bytes, empty file. Because I said, touch will help you to create an empty file. So this is a proof that the file is empty. This is the permissions of the file. Files are having read-write permissions. Anyways, we'll explain it. I'll explain. This is the owner of the file. This is what the group belongs to. Are you in a position to just not only list out all the files, you are in a position to extract, and you are in a position to get more information out of the file by using -l stands for long list. Normal list, ls will just give you files. ls-l will give you a list of files as well as directories. Participants, am I clear in explaining you the basics of Linux? If yes, please type in the chat box. Yes, please type yes in the chat box if I'm very clear in explaining you dealing with files, dealing with directories, navigating between the files. How can we create a file, touch command, long listing? I hope I'm very clear. Let's move on. Thank you very much for your responses. Let us stop the chat. Let us stop the chat. Yes, let's stop it. Perfect. Now, very, very important point. Very, very important point. Please observe. Clear? To clear the screen. ls to see list of all the files and directories. I want to create a file. I want to create a file which starts with dot. I want to create a file with the name .fh. We have F7, but I want to create a file name starts with dot. What happens when a file name starts with dot is what you have to understand. What happens when a file name starts with dot? Let's experience it. Yes, let's create a file by using the touch command. Touch dot f8. File got successfully created. ls to see list of all the files. Previously, we were getting D1, F5, F6, F7. But now, D1, F5, F7, F6. But what about F.F8? It's not visible. We have successfully created a file, but listing option will not showing you this file because in Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it is a hidden file. As per Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it is a hidden file. That's the reason list option ls is not capable to show hidden files. It is capable of only showing normal files and normal directories. I want to create a file directly with the name .d2. When a like file, when a directory name starts with dot, it is a hidden directory. It's a hidden directory. Please experience it. mkdir .d2. Done. It's a hidden directory. ls will not show you hidden files and hidden directories. ls will show you normal files and normal directories. It will not show you hidden files. It will not show you hidden directories. If your requirement is to also look at some hidden files and hidden directories, then you have to use ls-a. A stands for all. All in the sense normal files as well as hidden files. Please observe, my dear participants. Are you able to see in for our interest? You can see this is .f8 is a hidden file which we have created. .d2s hidden directory. Along with our hidden files, there are some more hidden files and hidden directories just for our observation. But you are in a position to see hidden files also. When a file name starts with dot, you now know it is a hidden file. When a directory name starts with dot, you know it is a hidden directory. A regular listing option will not show you hidden files and hidden directories. -a option will show you hidden file and hidden directories also. Okay. So total 3 listing options we have learned. ls will just show you list. ls-l will give you long list, date and time when the file has been created, the size of the file, permissions, you know it. Okay. ls-a will give you list of all the files along with hidden files also. Okay. You can use the combination options. ls-la. You can use combination of listing options. -l, -a, you can together call it as ls-la. So LA will show you list of all the files. As you have used A option, you will get a list of all the hidden files. As you have used long list option, you can also see the date and time when the hidden file has been created. You want to know the size of this file. You want to know the owner of the file. All this you can use all because you will get it because you're combining long list as well as normal files as well as hidden files. So are you able to get the result? ls-la. Are you able to get a complete list of, as you're using -l, you're getting metadata information of not only just normal files. I have used -a option, A also. So you're getting the long listing of both normal files as well as files. This is called combination of listing options. This is called combination of listing options. Normal list, long list, all files, combination of ls-la. So you're now comfortable not only just creating the files, you are now in position to list out, and you are also now in a position to work out with some more listing options as of now. Clear? Perfect. Let's move on. How to copy a file? How to copy a file? Okay. We have file f5. Let's see the content. This file f5 is having 3 lines of content. Now my requirement is to copy this file. Which file? f5, and copy to f10. Do we have file f10? We don't have it. But you can copy the file from the source. Source is f5 and destination is f10. You can do that by using the command called cp, stands for copy, f5 source, f10 destination. The file f10 is not existing, but not problem. File gets created. Whatever the content is there in the file f5, that will be copied into f10. Yes, successfully executed. ls, you can see the file f10 has been created. Let's see the content in the file f10. Are you getting the same content of the source file? Welcome to day 3 of DevOps, and you can see the same 3 lines of content. You have successfully copied file from one file to other file. Like in Windows, we have copy paste. Let's say we have a copy command. Next. Very, very important point. Very, very important. We have successfully connected to Linux, no doubt. We are communicating to the operating system. So we are creating files, we are creating directories. Very good, all good. My question is, you are working with Linux, but my point is, I want to know the current user using which you're working with Linux. Whenever you are working with Linux, you have to connect to it to a particular user. Like in Windows, I've connected, whenever you log into Windows, you have to log in with a specific username. Am I right? Similarly, you are working with Linux, no doubt. But what is the current user using which you are working? To know the current user, we have a command called who am I? To know the current user, we have a command called who am I, which will show you the current user using which you're working. Who am I? Which will show you the current user participants we have connected to the Linux. We have working with Linux using the Ubuntu user. To know the current user using which you're working, you have to use a command called who am I. You may have a question, Sunil, can we create new users? How can we switch from one user to other user? User management is this we'll discuss. To know the current user, please use a command called who am I whenever you want to know the current user using it your virtual. That's the reason. Can you see the username Ubuntu? In the dollar prompt, the first one, what you're able to see is the user, and this is the IP address. Clear? Am I clear? So who am I is the command which helps you to know the current user which you are working. Perfect. I want to rename a file. I want to rename a file. We have a file F5. We have a file F5. I want to change the name to, say, let's say F55. Can I do it? Whenever you want to rename a file, okay? Whenever you want to rename a file, we have a command called, interestingly, we have a command called move. Move. The file which you want to change is F5. What is the new name you want to rename to? F. You're done. Yes. There is no F5. You have renamed it to F55. The content will remain the same. So you have successfully renamed. Generally, you think that there is a command called R and V. It's not the case. We have a move command which helps you to rename a file. If your plan is to rename a file, so we have a command called move which helps you to rename a particular file. PWD stands for print working directory. Currently, you're pointing to /home/Ubuntu. Who am I? We already have learned to know the current user using which we are working. You may have a question. So when did we connect? Where did we mention that we will be connecting using Ubuntu user? How did you connect? How did you connect? Let's disconnect it. Exit. It is closed. How can I connect? Using the terminal called putty. Open the terminal. Under the host name, what is the information you need to use? Click on connect. Can you see here you are mentioning username? This is Ubuntu. This is username. Okay, so in the connection string itself, you have clearly mentioned that you want to work with. This is a Ubuntu operating system. The EC2 machine what we have created, the Linux machine I have created is an Ubuntu operating system. Am I right? So the Ubuntu operating system comes with an Ubuntu user and the SSH and the authentication and the credentials. This particular key pair acts like a password. We can compare like a password. So we have provided username and password. Perfect. You have successfully connected to a Linux machine. Perfect. Who am I? Will show you the current user using which. Clear? Clear about this? So did we meet our agenda for today's session? Perfect. Did we meet our agenda for today's session? Yes, we have done it. What is our plan tomorrow? Very, very key points. Our plan for tomorrow. How can we switch from one user to other user? You're currently working with Ubuntu, right? Can you switch from one user to some other user? Yes, you can do it. Experiencing hash prompt. Currently, you're working with $prompt. You'll experience the difference between dollar prompt. You'll understand the difference between dollar prompt and hash prompt. Important. The most important point of tomorrow's session is file permissions. A file can have three types of permissions: read permission, a write permission, execute permission. The most important point, which is very, very regularly used for every DevOps professional, is working with file permissions. You know, change settings, appearance, increase the font. ls-l, long listing. These are the file permissions. The R stands for read, W stands for write, X stands for execute. So these are all file permissions and directory permissions. Understanding the file permissions, you should be in a position to provide additional permissions or remove the permissions. Very, very important point for tomorrow is understanding the file permissions and changing the file permissions as per the requirement is very, very important point, which will be discussed in a tomorrow session. Mainly working with users, understanding dollar prompt and hash prompt, dealing with the files, understanding files, change the file permissions both by using the numerical notation. We'll change the permissions using numerical notation. We'll also learn how can we do it by using alphabetical notation. Once we are done with dealing with files and permissions, we'll learn with package management. What is repository? If time permits, we'll learn about how can we install packages in the Linux operating system. So much more interesting concepts for the tomorrow session. This is day 3. This is day 3. Tomorrow is also demo. Tomorrow is also the demo session, that is day 4, which will be continuation of today's session. You're welcome. The meeting link will remain the same, but tomorrow is the last demo session. Tomorrow is the last demo session. So if you have decided, please complete the payment. I hope you are already in the WhatsApp group. There's some new students. We're getting some mails. Participants, there's a WhatsApp group exclusively created for this particular batch. This is batch number 317. Participants, there is a WhatsApp group exclusively created for this particular batch. If you're already in WhatsApp community, it's not a WhatsApp group, it's a WhatsApp community. If you're already in the community, they're well and good. If you're not belonging to community, please join this community to get the updates. Please share this community to your colleagues or friends in case if they're interested to learn DevOps. Okay, or any included in many more workshops. We will be planning for many more workshops in the coming month. Okay, and if you have decided to complete the payment, I'll show you how to make the payment. You have to go to the site logicalabstract.com. Go to upcoming batches. Batch 317. This is the Zoom link, the demo link. This is the WhatsApp community link, and this is the payment link. The course fees, I hope you know it. It is 6,490 rupees only. And you will have access to the recordings. You'll have access to the notes. Okay. And then the offer is shell scripting videos is also free for the participants who are paying for this particular course. Okay. Perfect. Any questions? How are you doing, Annie? Good morning. Sesha.
Sir.
Good evening, Sesha.
Sir, my question is that these commands will work on Amazon Linux or else different commands in Amazon Linux?
It also works on Amazon Linux. Most of the commands are common across different offerings, different flavors of Linux. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know Linux, or is the first time you're learning?
This is first time, sir. I am learning AWS parallelly, which
Very
was
good.
taught by you in 2021.
Okay.
I am learning those AWS as well
Okay.
as this DevOps.
Linux. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So currently, do you have any experience?
No, sir. I am fresher.
All the best, Swarup.
Thanks,
See,
sir.
if you are skilled in this latest technologies like AWS and DevOps, definitely you'll have cutting edge advantage when
Okay.
you're appearing for any jobs. Okay. So you have completed your college?
Yes, sir. I completed my BTech in
Are there any?
2023 batch.
Okay. Okay. Which
Present I am
college?
Kite College, sir, which is in Kakinada.
Okay. All the best. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No campus placements in your college?
No, sir. No, sir.
Please send your resume to supported logic.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Karthik. How is today's session? You have to unmute and talk.
Yeah. Hi, Sunil. Today's session is very understandable.
Thank you.
Yeah, my
Yes.
question is, I have a question. Can we create new users in Linux?
Can we create?
New user in
Yes, we
Linux?
can create. We have a command called user add, which helps you to create a new user. We'll be seeing that. Okay, no one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, Aditya.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Aditya. How are you?
Fine, sir. Okay.
Yes,
Sir,
I
I
can
have a
see.
small.
Your voice is not clear. Please repeat your question.
No, sir. Do we have to log in using Putty, or we can log in by another source also, sir?
You can log in using
Hello.
Putty or yeah. Please repeat your question.
Sir, we are current instance now, sir. Can we log in through in from any other source, or should we always follow this procedure only?
Your voice is not clear, Aditya. We can see some break in your voice. Login using Putty. Putty is the best terminal. You can log in using Git Bash also if you know it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Perfect. So that's all for today's session. Tomorrow's session will be much more getting into the details of Linux, understanding the difference between hash prompt and dollar prompt. How can you switch from one user to other user? Understanding file permissions, read, write, execute, changing the file permissions are the key topics for the session tomorrow. Stay tuned for next session. Have a good time. Thank you very much.